Hello and welcome to another episode of The Conversation here on your digital first Pan-African news network, TOS Television, reaching you from Nigeria's capital city of Abuja, and my name is Adesu Suyi. Today on The Conversation, we're going to be talking about women's participation in politics, but from another dimension. We'll be looking at how Nigerians, or how ready Nigerians are to, give women a chance at, seats of power. And to join me in having that conversation here is Honorable Martha Agba. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you, Adesu.
Yes, it's a pleasure to have you. Now, let's get straight into it. I'm going to start with something random that I saw on Twitter while going through the timeline this morning. So somebody quoted something and he said, or tweeted something, and he said, there is no woman has actually come out to purchase the 100 million naira APC presidential expression of interest form. And he said something about women cannot even risk 100 million naira to break the bias that we've been talking about. And then another woman, responded to the tweet, say, women take calculated risks. So no woman will actually come out and take that because, it's not worthwhile. Do you also agree with that?
I don't agree with the fact that he said no woman wants to. But then again, I agree with the notion of the lady that said women take calculated risk. We know, or Nigeria has not gotten to the point to say, oh, we're actually looking for, or we are supporting women to actually run for elective position. So if we have actually gotten that support, or the leadership of the various parties are saying, oh, we want a woman to actually leadership or running for an elective position is not something you just wake up and say, I want to do it because you feel you can make that change. There's a process. You need to be involved in the process. You need to belong to a political party. You need to know the structures. You need to know how some of these things work internally. It's not about coming to social media. A lot of work work on the ground and in the caucus. So you cannot, some people have this presidential dream, 6 years, 16 years, 8 years, it's that long. So it's only on some cases you can just see someone or hear someone say he just wake up 4 years. 4 years is even a short time to say you want to govern Nigeria. Nigeria is a country that is very delicate.
Yeah.
So you don't just wake up and say. So he's saying no woman has come. No, but then again, women that are actually in elective position must have taken calculated risks and they weigh their options and see maybe they won't be given the opportunity or the support is actually not coming.
Okay.
So that's
okay. Now let me make it a little bit more personal. I know that you're vying to, or you're an aspirant for the Federal House of Representatives. You want to get into that position, but there are people, or there's a notion that said, because women are largely absent in the decision-making arm or bodies of government, that's why we have seen less improvement and development in Nigeria, so to speak. Do you also, is that maybe one of the reasons why you want to get into that position?
Okay, yes, you cannot shave a man's hair in his absence. So I feel, I agree with that notion. Another thing is, so you're trying to make decisions now for a lot of people. So women make about 49% of the voting strength.
Yeah.
And most time when people make choices or make options or pass bills and want to get involved in decision-making table, they actually provide solution for what they know or they are familiar with. So I actually tell people, sometimes I hear some people say, oh, that I want to go to represent my people, and because I know what my people need, and I try to correct them. I said, no, if you're going to say you want to represent your people, it's one thing, because you're making laws that's going to govern like Nigeria at large, not just your people. And local government is the first handshake of governance with the people.
Yeah.
So those that have the rights to say they are the closest to the people are the councillors.
Yeah.
They are the local government chairman. So you can't take that out of them, because most of these people live in the immediate communities with the people. So they know, or they will be the ones to tell you, this is what's happening in our community. This is what the people need. So I feel that women need to be in decision-making tables. Because just like we earlier said, they make more calculated risks, they weigh options and all of that. And because this nurturing nature of woman. So am I saying there are not women that have probably failed or had lapses? No. But then again, we're looking at women who have capacity, women who understand the system, women who understand governance to get involved. I think we're going to go a long way.
Okay, let me bring you back to the topic. I know politics and governance in Nigeria has been always largely masculinized, and having to give women, that chance at seats of power, politics, and all of that is largely considered a privilege, especially in a place where reverence for the masculinity is considered a value, right? Do you think, going by that, as a country and as a people, that Nigerians, not Nigeria now, but Nigerians themselves, are actually ready to give women this chance that we're clamoring for?
No, I don't think so.
Why is that?
Because, okay, I'll tell you personal experience. So many a times, even when I went for consultation and I met some people, so some of them were like, one stood out. One said, you're too pretty. Why don't you just go to Canada, get married and be cooking soup for your husband? Why do you want to get involved in this madness that we're doing? I said, because it's not just madness, because I still have people, I still go out there, I still see people complain. And sometimes some of these complaints affect me personally as a person. So it's not about saying no, women, but I don't think Nigerians are ready. So no matter how they try to say, oh, let's give women 40% affirmations, deep down low key, no, they're not
ready.
Yes, they still feel, I know, like a man also said something to me. He said, are you this young girl, you want to come and be giving me orders to do, and you want to come and be giving me, and I said, no sir, it's totally two different things. I'm talking about social capital now. I'm talking about how we can talk about development. We're talking about economic development, how we can make sure our community, because okay, my place, we have advantage. We have the Obudukatu Ranch, which is like a tour. I'm talking about, so how can we now marginalize this to make it very explicit? Because some people are like, oh, this is happening, this is not happening. So that's where I'm looking at, not looking at my age. Then the guy was like, no, you're even too young. Why don't you just sit down, wait, in the next 8 years you can come? I said, no, I don't have 8 years of my years to give to you. So I feel I am very proactive at this moment. So why don't I channel that energy into doing what I need to do? But so when you it's safe to say I have first-hand experience now. Yeah. So it's like the Nigerian people say, if you know go, you know go, no.
Yeah.
So because I am not involved in it directly, what I hear about politicking is totally different, because I can tell you this is what happened when I was trying to run for an elective position. So I have noticed that no matter what is being said, the Nigerians are not still ready to give women that chance.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. If they're not still ready, why do we still keep pushing? It might sound very vague, but why? Because you mentioned something that somebody said you were too pretty. I know the other day we were talking and I mentioned something like that, and then you said, pretty face, the skill set, a large portfolio does not win you elections.
No, it does not win you. Love does not win your election. Okay. Pretty face does not win you. You have to go to the field. You have to work. You have to make sure you have community engagement with the electorate. You need to pitch yourself. So sometimes when I put some of the things like my flyers, community engagement on social media, some people were like, no, get media people to do. I said, no, if I was in America or in a different country, I will have like a debate.
Yes.
I want to have conversation with the people.
Yeah.
I want people to ask me questions. But this is my own form of saying, I have my phone. A whole lot of people view my status. A whole lot of people come to my page. I can actually post this thing myself. So hold me accountable for these things I am posting.
Yeah.
So nobody is posting it on my behalf. Then we have the case of saying, oh, it's the media aid that responded. No, hold me accountable for it. So, but that notwithstanding, a whole lot of work has to be put into it. So in as much as we say women do this, women don't do this, it's so much. We're not trying to say we want to take out the men. I think that's another thing that the fear comes from. So it's more like synergize.
Okay.
We want to synergize with you people.
Okay.
We believe that two heads are better than one.
Yeah.
So I am coming from the women perspective, and I'm trying to say, oh, this is what I want to represent. This is our challenges. So we want more women in decision making tables. We want to do so tomorrow when we go back, we can actually say this is what was said. This is what we're taking back. So I think that synergy can actually work. So, but then again, it's still more like it's a man's world, So someone even asked me one time, he said, oh, so when you now get pregnant, what will happen? Will you go for sit-ins? What will happen during the period? Will you be on leave? So, so some questions that feel like these are reasons you should not go. Let the man go. And I said, no. Across the world, it's shown us over time that a lot of things can actually be managed.
Yeah.
And we can actually put some other things in order. So, but it's still there. Nigeria still have a long way to go.
So it doesn't matter, even if Nigerians are not ready, we just have to keep pushing.
We have to keep picking. We have to stand out. We have to stand tall. We have to, because sometimes I think there was I think a lady, an engineer or something, like one Nigerian girl, I think from Kogi or so, admits other people that have actually stand out in various capacities. Then there are two twins again that they are pilots from Kogi. So I'm sure that probably maybe from the initial stage, somebody will tell them that, oh no, you know, this is supposed to be a man thing. But then again, I'm sure with the help of their parents and probably relative, they pushed. They are now in Canada because they went to I went to FGC Kaduna. They went to FGC Kaduna, so that's why like the story is like the first hand something I can actually say. So, but many a times we don't even get support. I can tell you, even down to my family. A cousin of mine told me, I'm not going to support you to run for this thing because it's very crazy out there. Just forget about it. I want you to go get married. Don't, you know, I'm not supporting you. So this is even from home. Before you now go out, and I'm like, oh, no problem. You're going to be all right. You don't need to support me. It's the electorate because it's not a family business now. So I'm talking about the electorate at large. So, but I don't think Nigerians to an extent, the 40% we had in the Senate, that was like a clear indication.
Yes.
So I personally even know someone running for House of Reps, and he told me, so we had this conversation where we were talking about manifesto, and he said, Martha, I am not going to pass that bill when I get into the House. I said, you're not even in the House yet, and you're already saying you're not going to support it. Your people should be worried. I am worried and concerned for the young women and young girls that want to be a voice, to stand out and start strong in your constituency. It is a question mark already for me. I wish this is like on the tape so people can actually see that this person does not have interest to support women. And he was like, no, you won't understand. We cannot. It's not going to work. It's not. And I said, okay, I'm not having this conversation now. But till when we get there.
Okay. Okay, now it now brings me to, I mean, so it's clear that a large proportion of men do not support women, you know, get into elective positions. So now let's talk about women supporting women. I do know that the Minister of Women Affairs did say something about women only supporting parties that would give women 35% affirmative positions. And I do know that the APC national chairman, women's leader rather, the APC national women's leader is from your state, Cross River State. So has there been any form of support from these quarters as to say, look, there are women in my state that want to come, or generally even in Nigeria, I mean, that's a woman who understands being in that capacity, you know, holding elective positions. Has there been any sort of support whatsoever?
Okay, first and foremost, I think the party in cost to support women to run for elective position eliminated the nomination form, and we're asked to just be the expression of interest form. That's one. I think that's like a boot step. It's like a step. But I think another thing is one thing to get it. And another person said, I had a conversation with some European people, and like it's a cohort of people from different countries. And so some of them are already familiar with the terrain of governance, especially in women participation. And one of them said, Martha, it's a great thing your party has eliminated the nomination form and you're just paying expression of interest. But to me, I feel it's not necessary. Why don't they say and ensure that you get the tickets? You could get the expression of interest form, but that doesn't secure you a ticket. So the fight should be for tickets. So we can have the expression of interest form free to pay and still not get the tickets. So that's like a circle and take us back to the square. So what we're clamoring for is the tickets. So to say that the party is actually supporting women to give them 40% or 35%, ensuring that each state, like most states have 3 senatorials, one seat can be for women. Give us, like my state has 8 House of Rep members, give like 3 or 4 to women, the rest can be men. Then we come down to the State House of Assembly, then we go down. So this ensuring that mandatory, you're choosing women who have capacity to fill this role. So right now, it's one thing, or it's a step to say, oh, we've gotten the free nomination form, but we can now conclude, you're a journalist, I think it's your job. So probably at the end of the day, when the primary results come out, you guys can actually go through the status and say, okay, in this particular state, Cross River, for example, was it possible to attain the 40% women affirmation? I think that's from there we can actually know if what was actually said from the party structure was actually evident. So what we have in the primary sheets can actually say, oh, this is evidence that it is a kickstart, that's what is going to happen across. The leadership actually stood firm by what was said. So that's one for it. So it's also another aspect. You know, many people say, oh, women don't actually support women. But I said it's true and it's not true. So it's true in the sense that they also have men who don't support men. But men who do support men don't come out to express it like women.
Yeah.
So women will want to do it verbally. Women will want to probably naturally lament about it. Women want to say, people, this is what's happening. This woman is actually saying it to my face. But men will probably do it behind closed doors. Men will do it, or they have people who help them do the fight, but not. But women want to take it upon themselves. So it's a win-win. So women support women, because I've had women who have actually supported me.
Okay.
You know, I was an SSA. I've had women who would actually say, "Oh, this lady is actually working. I think she can do more. She has more capacity. She can get involved." You know, the former national woman leader, Honorable Stella Okotete, is one of them. She also gave me an appointment as the state representative for young women in APC in Cross River State, because she actually noticed and said, so that's one person that pushes people to actually, young women to actually get involved in governance, host seminars and all that. So that's a step. So there are women who support women, and there's also women who don't support women. But it's more like the larger shows and expresses that more women don't support women to run for elected position.
Unfortunately, that's the time that we have on the show this morning. But thank you so much for joining me and sharing your thoughts on the conversation this morning. Thank you. And thank you for staying with me up until this time on the conversation. Do not forget that I'll be back here same time on Monday. Yes, because the conversation comes to you every weekday, Mondays to Friday. But before then, you should join the conversation across our social media platforms. It's TOS TV Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Subscribe to TOS TV Network on YouTube. And of course, stream our websites, www.tostvnetwork.com, for news, stories, and happenings from across the world. Thank you again for joining me. My name is Adesu Alci, and please have a very, very restful weekend.